Many thanks for joining us. I am Annetta Felix and you're watching News Now on TV360 Nigeria. Sudanese President Omar al-Bashir has been ousted from power in a military coup led by the country's defense minister, Awad bin Auf. Bin Auf announced the development in a live address on the state TV, noting that Omar al-Bashir has been arrested and put in a safe place. He adds that the military will be in charge for the country for another 2 years, while a 3-month state of emergency has also been imposed in the country. Bin Auf also announced that the country's constitution has been suspended, while its airspace has been closed for 24 hours. Now, this follows a series of protests in Khartoum, capital of Sudan, with the protesters demanding the resignation of the president. Bashir, who ruled with an iron fist, has been in power since 1989 after he toppled the former government in a coup. I'm bringing it back to Nigeria. President Muhammadu Buhari has charged security agencies to ruthlessly address the string of attacks across the country. President Buhari gave the directive on Thursday during a meeting with service chiefs of the presidential villa in Abuja. Now, the meeting was attended by the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, Chief of Army Staff, Major General Tukur Buratai, and Chief of Defense Staff, Gabriel Olunishakim. Now, addressing the State House correspondents at the end of the closed-door meeting, General Olunishaki and the police IG speaks on what took center stage.
The security meeting we've just had with Mr. President today is to review the strategy that we are adopting in confronting the security issues in Zamfara State, especially, and other places nationwide. And this review strategy is to address all the issues, including kidnapping, banditry, and other associated issues confronting the nation. And we are coming up with a revised strategy to handle those challenges. But the chief has spoken, but I want to assure Nigerians that Kaduna-Abuja road is now safe. We have cleared the road. We've arrested a lot of the kidnappers, and in confrontation with some of them, some were fatally injured. So the road is cleared. Our patrol teams, the combined security services that are patrolling the road are there constantly 24 hours.
Meanwhile, the House of Representatives has asked President Muhammadu Buhari to appear before it and address Nigerians on the spate of insecurity across the country. The lawmakers have given the president 48 hours to do this. Incessant attacks on communities in Benue, Zamfara, Kaduna, and other states in the past month has claimed the lives of hundreds and displaced thousands of others. Now, should the president fail to respond to the request, the lawmakers resolved to conclude with other Nigerians that he and his administration were incapable of permanently curtailing the incessant killings of innocent Nigerians. The House resolved to constitute an ad hoc committee to interface with the presidency regarding the request. Now, the Senate has confirmed the nomination of 3 persons as career ambassadors designate. The new ambassadors are Christopher Chejina, Buka Kolo, and M. Abdul. The lawmakers also approved the appointment of Kabiru Nakura as chairman, National Bureau of Statistics. The Red Chambers also urged the federal government to secure the release of the last Dapchi schoolgirl, Leah Sharibu, from the captivity of Boko Haram. Tunjoyi now brings us the details.
Thursday plenary started with a point of order raised by Senator Shehu Sani, Kaduna Central, on Leah Sharibu, one of the girls kidnapped from Government Girls Secondary School, Dapchi, Yobe State, on February 19, 2018. Leah Sharibu is the only one still in captivity after the over 100 girls kidnapped, and the Senate is urging the federal government to do everything possible to get her back.
The abduction of Leah Sharibu and others have raised national and international concern on the need for the federal government and all Nigerians to put hands, hearts, and heads together to work to secure her release. Her continuous detention in the hands of the captives should touch on the conscience of all Nigerians. The federal government must not be tired of exploring all possible means of reaching out to those who are holding her and others hostage to secure their freedom.
The point of order on Leah Sharibu was followed by confirmation of 3 career ambassador designates. Christopher Chejina Bukakolo and M.A. Madbu were confirmed upon consideration of the report of the Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs headed by Senator Monsura Sumonu from Oyo Central.
The committee, having carefully and thoroughly conducted the screening exercise, was satisfied with the qualifications, exposure, conduct, character, experience, and general performance of the 3 career nominees who rose through the ranks to the level of directors level 17 in the Foreign Service. Accordingly, the committee hereby recommends them for confirmation by the Senate. And our prayers are that the Senate do confirm the nomination of the following 3 ambassadorial nominees for confirmation of their appointments as ambassadors of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
For the management of the National Bureau of Statistics, the appointment of Dr. Kabiru Nakaura as chairman was confirmed after consideration of the report of the committee.
Having screened the nominees and been satisfied about their integrity, experience, qualification, and competence, recommend that the Senate do confirm the nomination of Dr. Kabiru Nakaura, Mr. Akinola Al-Bashiru, Professor Moses Aimomo, Willie Jordan Ladi Ahijo, Adam Modu, and Uwafo Paul Chukwudi for appointment as chairman and members of the Board of Directors of the National Bureau of Statistics. I so submit.
The Senate is to reconvene on Tuesday, 16th April 2019. From Abuja, Sunjoye, TV360 News.
The Federal Executive Council has approved contracts for several programs in Nigeria. The contracts were awarded for the creation of employment through the Empower Build program, air safety, justice dispensation, among others. Now, this next report has more. At this meeting of Nigeria's Vice President and Ministers of Government of the Federation, key decisions were taken on the country's future. The Federal Executive Council awarded contracts to companies for the installation of a new digital system to simplify operations across several sectors in Nigeria. Minister of Justice and Attorney General of the Federation, Abubakar Malami, announced plans to decongest prisons in Nigeria. He says that to this end, the Federal Executive Council had approved a contract of 2.8 billion naira to install the new web-enabled system.
The Office of the Attorney General has presented a council memo today, which is wave-based automated network interconnectivity system that is integrated to come up with a digitalized way of decongesting prison. How does it work? The idea is to have in place in all the prison formations an interconnectivity to certain formations, particularly the Office of the Attorney General, the police, the prison service, and indeed selected courts that could be connected to the prison formation and then to these offices. And the essence is to have an idea on day-in, day-out basis as to what obtains in our prisons across the nation. So at a glance, on a click of a button in the Office of the Attorney General can be able to access the information on a daily basis as to what truly obtains in prison formation.
Minister of Aviation Hadi Sirika explains how the newly acquired 5.5 billion naira firefighting facility will aid safety and security in Nigeria's aviation industry.
Council considered and duly approved a memorandum from us and it is for the procurement of memory access retrieval system. And this memory access retrieval system is to enhance safety. Safety and security being the main thrust of the policy of Muhammadu Buhari's government on aviation. And this is to enhance our laboratory in accident investigation. And it's a requirement of International Civil Aviation Organization, ICAO, with their standards and recommended practices, and it's also a requirement by our local laws.
On his part, Minister of Budget and National Planning, Udo Udoma, stated that they have approved over 270 billion naira for the training of 75,000 unemployed Nigerians. He explains that the aim of the heavy investment is to reduce unemployment in Nigeria and encourage entrepreneurship.
The N-Power Build program is a non-graduate program that seeks to deliver accelerated training and certification skills to 75,000 Nigerians between the ages of 18 and 35 years old. It aims to build a new crop of highly competent and skilled workforce of technicians, artisans, and service professionals who will be trained and tooled and transitioned annually.
FCT Minister Mohammed Bello also says that he awarded a 226 million naira contract for the purchase of 500 units of firemen suits for the FCT fire service. The approval of these contracts delivers on some of President Muhammadu Buhari's campaign promises for the 2019 presidential polls. Annetta Phillips, TV360, Nigeria. The federal government has approved the establishment of a National Council on Skills. The approval was given at the Federal Executive Council meeting in Abuja. Now, briefing journalists after the meeting, Minister of Education Adamu noted that the establishment of a national vocational framework will enhance technical and vocational qualification among Nigerian students.
Skills is an area of priority for this administration, so you cannot accuse this government of not being committed to it, and you cannot even link that to the shortness of my address. My address is just to tell you what happened there. There is no price to it, or it's not a contract or anything like that. If you want some detail, you can ask a question. But certainly, skills is a great area for this administration, and we are very committed to it. You know, all other countries in the world, they are trying to get skills for innovation. Unfortunately for us now, we are looking for skills at a very lower level in order just to make our countrymen able to handle things here. There are so many things that have been done by nationals of other West African countries. So it's a very, very big thing for the government. If you want, I can tell you, so far, the National Vocational Education Qualification Framework, they have done the, I think, 95 curricula on the subject that we are going to teach. We have identified at least 41 areas of action.
Presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Atiku Abubakar, has denied reports that he hired a U.S. lobbyist firm to advance his case at the Presidential Election Tribunal. Now, there had been reports that the PDP chieftain had paid the sum of $30,000 to the lobbying firm to assist him achieve his presidential ambition. But in a statement, Atiku dismissed the reports, saying the alleged contract is a handiwork of the All Progressives Congress, APC. Atiku and the PDP is challenging the results of the February 23rd presidential polls won by President Muhammadu Buhari. They claim the data gotten from the server of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, shows the PDP won the poll with a margin of 1.6 million votes. Meanwhile, Nigeria's Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, has warned the People's Democratic Party not to take their rights to freedom of speech for granted. The AGF said this in reaction to allegations by the PDP that he and Rotimi Amechi, Minister of Transport, were pressuring the Supreme Court to reverse the nullification of the primaries of Rivers chapter of the All Progressives Congress, APC. In the same vein, Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, has asked the PDP and its presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar to stop overheat in the polity. Addressing a press conference in Abuja on Thursday, Mohammed advised Atiku not to give the impression that he does not have confidence in the country's judicial system. The minister said this following reports that the PDP candidate had a U.S. lobbyist to advance his bid to take over power from President Muhammadu Buhari. The Supreme Court has struck out 3 appeals filed by the All Progressives Congress in Rivers State on the elections. A 7-man panel of judges led by the acting Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Ibrahim Mohammed, unanimously dismissed the appeal for being incompetent. The APC had asked the Apex Court to reverse itself on the exclusion of the party from the governorship and House of Assembly elections in Rivers State. The court had barred INEC from fielding candidates from the party in the March elections conducted in the South-South state for conducting invalid primaries. Well, let's now move to the Federal High Court in Abuja, which has reserved its judgment on a suit seeking an order declaring vacant seats of the lawmakers who defected from the parties. Now, listed on the suit is Senate President Bukola Saraki, the Speaker of the House, and 52 other members of the National Assembly who defected from the original parties last year. Justice Okon Abang, upon pleas by the defendants, decided to suspend the judgment in order to allow them file their defense in the matter. A civil society group, the Legal Defense and Assistance Project, had filed the suit in September last year, urging the court to compel the affected legislators not only to vacate their seats in the National Assembly, but to also refund all allowances and remuneration they had received since their last defection. We'll take a break here and we'll return with business news. Do stay with us.
House the crash launch was an interest in the lives of the conservative government not simplified. Voters are on the queue to have a ballot.
That election outcome was poor and Nigerians are reacting.
Area of Lagos has ended
Notes some minutes say the incident has been managed.
This morning.
You're welcome back, and we have Oyin Adekule to bring us news in business. Hello, Oyin.
Hi, Anita.
So we've been talking about the Federal Executive Council meeting that happened yesterday, and let's see, what's the business side to the story?
Well, the Minister of Budget and National Planning, Udoma, says Nigeria's rising debt stock is sustainable. Udoma, reacting to concerns raised by the PDP on the country's public debt profile, which has risen to 24.39 trillion naira, said government is currently working on initiatives to widen its revenue base. He said this while addressing State House correspondents after the Federal Executive Council meeting in Abuja.
We do have a revenue challenge, and we are focusing on that. And once the revenues come up, it will be obvious that we don't have a debt problem at all. And we are working on a number of initiatives to increase our revenues. We're looking at initiatives to widen the tax base. We're looking at initiatives to increase efficiency in collections. We're looking at the single window, which will help to increase efficiency in customs collections. So we're looking at very many different ways to improve our revenues. With regard to the budget, we are happy to see the focus of the National Assembly on the budget, and we look forward to, whenever it's passed, the executive receiving it.
In a bid to drastically cut down gas flare and convert same into economic use, the Nigerian government on Thursday inaugurated a gas flare commercialization committee. The committee is essentially to reduce Nigeria's gas flares and increase gas supply to meet short to mid-term local gas demand. The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Ibe Kachiku, who inaugurated the committee in Abuja, says Nigeria has a 2020 target for the elimination of gas flare in the country.
This program has been established to make sure that the gas that is being flared is taken and put into commercial use in Nigeria. And if we achieve that, we will be able to generate a lot of money for the country and also save the environment and the people from the health effects of the gas that is being continuously flared, as you have heard from the first speaker, the MC of this program.
Gas flare is a major issue. There's no country in the world that's not flaring gas by virtue of their operations. We are 75% compliant, means that some serious work has been done historically up to this point. We're trying to target 100% compliance. So I don't think it is fair for us to say, look, we're pushing back, Certainly in the 3 years or 4 years that we've been here under His Excellency President, we've achieved those 75% timelines. We have put in place a gas policy. We have gazetted gas flare commercialization. We have begun LPG deployment. I think, and we've begun to task oil companies on the need to clean out their sites. DPR has become digitalized in such a way that you can see the sites, you can identify them, you can identify productions that are careless and the ones that are caused by natural hazards of production. So a lot more strictness has been put in this. That's why I can confidently say that given what we're doing today, we can shoot towards the goalposts that we set for ourselves. Nobody put that goalpost to us, we did. And I think the fact that we're bold enough to say we'd like to exceed by it shows how serious this matter is. Because it's become a health issue. It's not even an economic issue anymore. It's become a survival issue. You go around Abuja, you see how hot it is these days. You ask yourself, is this normal? So there are reasons for concern all over the world on this.
Oil prices fell nearly 2% on Thursday after sources said that OPEC may raise output from July if Venezuelan and Iranian supplies fall further and prices keep rallying. Rising U.S. crude stockpiles also dragged U.S. futures down by more than $1 per barrel to trade at $63.45 per barrel. On the other hand, Brent was at $70.72 a barrel, down $1.01 from its last close. Emerging reports suggest that the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries may raise oil output from July if Venezuelan and Iranian supply drops further and prices keep rallying. Venezuelan crude production has dropped below 1 million barrels per day due to U.S. sanctions, and Iranian supply could fall further as Washington tightens its sanctions against Tehran. Stock market review is up next right after this break. The bulls are maintaining their strong presence on the floor of the market for the second straight day this week. The all-share index is rising. It's a 0.53% gain, which saw it closing at 29.347 basis points, while with market capitalization standing at 11.023 trillion naira. The market breadth also remained positive as there were more gainers compared to the number of declining stocks. I beg your pardon. Guarantee Trust Bank is leading the best performing stocks today, showed by WAPCO, First Bank Nigeria Holdings, and GlaxoSmithKline. Glaxo is actually recovering from yesterday's loss, posting a gain of 4.68%. Conversely, the percentage laggards were led by Flour Mill, Eternal, Ikeja Hotel, and Zenith Bank PLC. They all made a combined loss of 20.89%. In summary, a total of 224.028 million shares valued at 2.013 billion exchange hands in 3,127 deals. Moving on to global stock. Now, we see that the Dow is down owing to disappointing feats from the US-China trade talks. Global economic slowdown also dragged mining shares lower in the Financial Times stock exchange, that's FTSE. And the fall, however, does not affect Nikkei today, as it managed to close in the greens with a 0.11% rise. That's all on the stock market review today. It's back to Aneta for the rest of the news.
Thank you for that update, Onyi. Now let's turn to the UK, where British police have arrested WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange at Ecuador's embassy in London after his asylum was withdrawn. The Metropolitan Police says its officers went into the embassy to detain him for failing to surrender to the court over a warrant issued in 2012. He has been taken to custody at the Central London Police Station. The Australian whistleblower has been holed up at the embassy yards from the Harrods department store Ignite Bridge since 2012, when he was granted asylum as part of a bid to avoid extradition to Sweden, where he was facing allegations of sexual assault. Voters have gone to polls in the world's largest democracy, but the marathon process will take nearly 6 weeks to complete. Polling both across the 20 states and union territories in India, where constituencies are voting, have begun to shut, as eligible voters represent over 10% of the world's population. The poll is fiercely contested between Rahul Gandhi and Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Now, polls suggest Modi's party is widely expected to be in position to form a new government after the election. But the big question is whether he will win an outright majority or be forced into trying to form a coalition. Let's now turn to sport, as five-time world champions Nigeria flew out of Abuja yesterday on their way to Tanzania to take part in the 13th Africa Under-17 Cup of Nations, taking place from the 14th to 28th of April. Now, the Golden Eaglets secured their ticket to Tanzania after winning the WAFU B Under-17 tournament in Niger Republic in September last year, and will be aiming to be one of Africa's 4 flag bearers at the FIFA Under-17 World Cup finals, now scheduled for Brazil later this year. Nigeria, Africa's Under-17 football powerhouse, edged fellow juggernauts Ghana on penalties in Niamey to secure their slot in Tanzania, and in the same Group A as host Tanzania, Uganda and Angola. Atletico Madrid striker Diego Costa will not feature again this season after being slapped with an 8-match ban for insulting and grabbing referee Jesus Gil Manzano during a defeat to Barcelona. The Fury frontman launched into a furious tirade at the match officials after he was shown red. Now, the Spanish Football Federation had met on Wednesday to decide that the players sit out 8 La Liga fixtures. He was handed 2 4-game bans, one for insulting a match official and another for holding Manzano's arm in an effort to prevent him from showing yellow cards to Diego Godin and Jose Gimenez. And that's it on News Now on TV360 Nigeria. Thanks for watching and bye for now.